Hi there, my name's Frances. Welcome to my YouTube channel. If you're new, welcome, hello. If you're a subscriber, welcome, hello. I create fantasy style artwork and I use mainly pastel pencils. I've just started my Shopify shop probably about a year ago. Actually, it might have been a bit longer than that. And I've just been trying to sort of work on my art in between doing other work, basically. So I started YouTube to kind of build an audience, to help my confidence as well. I get very nervous talking to people. I'm hoping over time you'll kind of see more like me, and also I'll get better at sort of talking to the camera and stuff. But I mainly wanted to sort of kind of document my journey. And also find kind of similar people and just sort of create a nice sort of community. What I'm working on at the moment is I plan on having a launch, maybe sort of spring, early summer. It does depend on finances at the moment, but I want to sort of go for a bookish type cottage garden maybe kind of theme. I was having a look actually over my previous pictures that I was doing. So I was working on a little fairy toad, and I did a little snail, and I really like those two pictures. They're very similar in colour scheme, and I kind of wanted to kind of stick to those kind of colours and that kind of theme, but also incorporate bookish type themes. So the reason for this launch is to get out some more products from my shop, kind of helps me kind of work towards something as well. So I'm really early doors with my business. I'm just sort of in that stage where I'm trying to market myself, trying to get myself out there. So at this stage in my business, a lot of it is just learning how to do things. So I've spent probably about a year just figuring stuff out, researching manufacturers, working out how to use different programs, working out, setting up the Shopify shop, working out how to do things like having a newsletter, mailing list, figuring out how to actually turn your artwork into products. There's a lot of just researching on how to do those sort of things. So a lot of my time spent is just researching basically and just learning how to do stuff. So for my launch, I'm going to sort of create sort of a bit of a mood board or a bit of a collage and sort of gather together a visual idea of what I want to do, because at the moment I feel a bit sort of scatterbrained in the sense that I have a lot of ideas but they're not very consistent with each other, and I feel like if I did this launch it would be just a very mismatch of things, and I kind of want it to be to kind of match with each other, if that makes sense. I do want to make some book sleeves. That's something that I could do, that I can make here at home, and I want to create another fabric pattern. I want to do some magnetic bookmarks, some regular bookmarks, some notepads, and also apparel as well. So the apparel is something that I would outsource. So most of my stuff is outsourced anyway, but the apparel would be a print on demand. So if you haven't watched any of my other previous vlogs at all, so I and my husband and our furry dog child, we live here on a narrowboat, so we are very limited for space. I don't have any any storage space or anything like that. So when I do buy anything, it's in very small amounts. It's basically whatever I can fit underneath my desk here in the drawer. And I've been sort of looking into print on demand services, just simply because I just don't have the space for it, and also the money as well. I would love to like be more hands-on with what I create. I can sew stuff, so I do have a sewing machine and I can sew items. So I'm looking at doing not just book sleeves, but also I want to have a go like hair scrunchies. I do sort of like have my hair tied up sometimes, so that's something that is something that I'd use anyway. So, and a good way to kind of use up scrap material. But also, I'd love to be able to sort of make things like mouse mats, coasters, print like t-shirts, like DTF t-shirts and things like that, with like a heat press, just like one of those big flat heat presses. You can do quite a few things on them, but obviously you need a printer to do that as well. And I think, I mean, I could probably squeeze those things here on the desk. I'd have to sort of find stuff for all this junk. This is just like a junk area, which I usually, if I've got my printer, I usually just sort of shove it up here. But yeah, I could probably squeeze those items on here, but it's where would I keep the t-shirts, where would I keep the mouse mats, those kind of things. I don't really have the space for that. So yeah, it's a challenge to try and grow a business when you're already busting out the seams. My goal one day would be to be able to have like my own space to work in. So either I would hire like a studio or an office or something, just like a bedroom sized room somewhere, or if we do move out from the boat into a house, that there'll be a room, like a spare room that I could work from. But those things are like way off into the future. But yeah, it's what it is, really. I just kind of got to work with what I got and what I have, and just see where we go. And if you're kind of interested in like my life here on the boat and kind of the struggles, I guess, you'll probably see me go through, like trying to run a business from here, feel free to like, you know, follow along if you want to watch that. So today I've got a few things on my to-do list. I need to finish setting up my Fair store. So I got accepted onto Fair probably about like 2 weeks ago, I think, and I haven't got around to finishing setting that up. I wanted to add a wholesale page to my website once I've done that, and then social media posts. I want to do some Instagram posts and some YouTube reels. So I want to advertise the fact that I have a newsletter. So when you go onto my Shopify store, within like a few seconds of when you're on there, a little pop-up pops up and it says sign up to the newsletter and you'll get 10% off your next purchase, I think it says. So I want to sort of like advertise that. Other things is I want to carry on sort of working on the launch. I was doing some kind of very rough sketches last night. I did like a little sketch of like an owl with like a pair of like little glasses, you know, like those little like half moon glasses. I did him, I kind of sat on some books. I might do some like other things in the background. I kind of got like a candle next to him or something. I might do some other things, but I thought that was kind of cute. I've been wanting to draw an owl for ages. We have round here at the marina, we have tawny owls and we have a barn owl that flies around. So yeah, I think if there was like, if I had to choose between owls and birds of prey like hawks or something, I definitely would, I think, pick the owls. They're probably my favourite bird. They're just really cute with their like round faces. So yeah, I want to carry on working on some sketches and trying to get something together for my launch. So I'm going to get on the computer, do some of the things that I need to do only on the computer, The social media posts, I can do that on my iPad. I've been sort of using Canva to sort of create some nice looking social media posts. I'm trying to sort of like use that more to sort of help me have some nice pretty pictures. So I'm going to try and tick off as much as I can today, and I do want to spend some time just kind of relaxing and just kind of sketching. It's something I'm kind of struggling to do at the moment, because I feel like I have to sort of like push myself to be productive. I feel like if I'm sat down just sketching, it's almost like a waste of time, and it isn't. Like, it's really important that I need to sketch, because you're learning, you're improving your art style and your technique, and just because you're just drawing some stuff doesn't mean they're not going to become something. They're just sort of ideas at the moment, and I need to just get in the habit of just spending some quality time just sketching and doodling, basically. Got no internet. I'm gonna try turning it off and on again. That usually works. It worked. Morning everyone. It is the last day of filming for me, so it's Saturday. I don't know what day it is. It's Saturday, and then in a couple of days I'm going to upload this video on the Monday. I'm going to be out all day tomorrow, so I need to get this this vlog edited and uploaded, ready to schedule for Monday. It takes me about half a day probably to upload up on YouTube. My internet is like really bad, so I need to make a start today. I haven't really done much art stuff the past couple of weeks. I always feel really guilty when I haven't done much, but I have had a busy sort of couple of weeks. So we had family visit us. There's been lots of like admin-y kind of life stuff to kind of sort out. My car's been in the garage. I hadn't had that for like a week, so I've had to sort that out. Yeah, just I've been busy. Half of it's sort of been art stuff, and half of it's just been kind of life stuff. I was hoping that I would finish the fox and lantern picture. I am almost there. Like I am nearly done. I've just got the background to do, so the dark background, and sort of like I wanted to put some clouds in the background as well. So I'm nearly there. What I got plans for it, I'm not too sure. I'm hoping that it's small enough that it'll fit into the scanner that I've got. I've got an A4 scanner, so I'm hoping it'll fit in there. I'm trying to do illustrations that are A4 size, just so I don't have to go into town. Basically, there's a shop in town that will scan large art prints or art pictures, but I have to pay like £10 per picture to do it. So if I can do it here, then brilliant. I was thinking about sort of maybe it might look nice on a t-shirt or something. It does depend on how it will come out. I would like to get some like samples done. The thing with sort of like doing very detailed work, it can kind of look a bit funny when it's printed on certain products. So usually it's things that I've got like a low resolution, because my fabric that I got printed, that's done at a 200 dpi resolution. So I kind of have to have the images like quite big, well, big-ish. I can't sort of do them very small, and obviously you're kind of losing a bit of detail, but I think if they look fine, then they look fine. So, but I would like to get some samples done, just to see how they look really. I did a bit of watercolour and pen, actually. I'll show you. So you saw a clip of me sort of painting and sketching just at the start. So the camera, this annoying camera, has a really low battery, so I could only have it on for probably about an hour or so, and then it dies. So it was already sort of like a 0.5% anyway when I started, and then it cut out actually, and I didn't realise it had stopped filming, stopped recording. So, but I'll show you the finished image. So I'm hoping it will focus. Focus, focus, focus. This is watercolour and pen. And this is just like a Mother's Day card. I've got like the phone next to me, which I'm looking at here, so because the little screen is too small here. But yeah, Mum wanted a handmade Mother's Day card, so I did that. It's been ages since I did any watercolour and pen illustrations. I mean, I did it really quickly. Bearing in mind, I could probably have done it a little better. I mean, I do like it, and I do actually quite enjoy doing pen and watercolour. I like that kind of mixed medium artwork. It's nice and quick, and it's quite relaxing, and it's just different from what I normally do. So I wouldn't mind doing sort of more like sort of illustrations like this. I kind of had the idea of doing some bookmarks that are like kind of floral like this, like bunches, and having like a nice sort of like border or something. I don't know, maybe I was thinking of doing them in pastel anyway, but yeah, so I've been looking at sort of getting regular bookmarks done. The trouble that I'm having with the bookmarks is if I go into Procreate and actually set up the canvas as a bookmark size, I can draw on it fine and everything, but if I import any of my illustrations onto it, it just goes really pixelated and horrible. And if I work, so the other idea I thought about was if I did a illustration but did it like ratio it up so it'll be big, and then you can scan it and then kind of shrink it down into the actual bookmark size, but I would need like really long paper, because the paper that I've got at the moment I think is 30 inches, and it'll be too short. So the bookmark that I've done already was quite difficult to get made, because I had that issue. So I did it as sort of half an A4 size, thinking, oh, they'll just shrink it down and it'll fit the actual bookmark size. But when they shrunk it down, you had like either a big gap at the top or a big gap at the bottom, which I think the illustration team where I got my bookmarks made, my wolf ones, they just used like Photoshop or something and sort of added in what was missing. There was a lot of back and forth with it, and they did say it was kind of difficult. They did it and it looks great, and you can't tell like whatever they did, what they did, it looks really good, but it was difficult to get it made basically. So I want to avoid that issue in future. So I'm just sort of like trying to find a way how I can make bookmarks without sort of having them really big and then shrinking them down, because I'd have to buy paper that's big, that's tall, and then take them into town to get them scanned. Or if I can somehow just work on the iPad with it, but then yeah, it's the images that are just getting all pixelated. I don't know if anyone has any ideas like what to do. I need help basically, so I'm just trying to figure out that. I would love to get like foiling done or something. I was having a look thinking, oh, I could get like, they do like different coloured foils. I'm like, oh, I could just do purple foil or something, or gold or silver or green or something. And I thought, yeah, but first hurdle is actually trying to get the bookmarks, that like the right size. So that's an ongoing issue that I'm trying to figure out at the moment. The other thing is, I mentioned in the last vlog that I was sort of planning on keeping track of my time, how much time I'm spending on art and housework and stuff like that. So I've been doing that. I've been keeping track. So obviously I've missed out a lot of days because I've had like, we have family sort of visiting us, and I've had sort of like admin days and just sort of like sorting stuff out. I'm hoping that's not blurry. Don't be blurry. But yeah, really, really, I mean, obviously I could have done it a little bit better, but it works for me anyway. It is nice to have a look back on it and just see how much time I'm spending on things. So when I finish my fox picture, I've got another sketch lined up. It's an owl. I think I mentioned it in my last vlog. I always forget like what I've mentioned sometimes. I think, oh god, am I repeating myself? But no, I've got an owl sketch sat on some books. I do need to sort of carry on sort of tweaking and working on the actual sketch, which I think I've got it on my iPad, or if I got it in my, no, I think I've got it on my iPad. Yeah. So I like to sketch out things in my sketchbook. I don't know, it's just something about this pencil and paper. It just sort of feels nice, and I feel like I've got a little bit more control over it. I don't know, but I take a photo of it on my iPad and then I sort of rework it in Procreate. It's a lot easier to kind of adjust things then. So the owl that I went for is a little owl. So I was thinking about, oh, do I go for like a tawny owl or a barn owl? But I was just sort of, I think I went with a little owl because the little owl is associated with, I think is it Greek or Roman? I can't remember, I'll have to look it up. But associated with like wisdom and knowledge. And also they're like got these really nice little grumpy little faces. They're quite little cute little birds. They do this funny thing where they kind of stand very tall on their legs, and it looks really funny. I had an owl do that once. I was sort of sat out I was watching like a barn. I was doing like some bat surveys, and I was watching a barn that had a barn owl nest in it, and then next to me in the field there was I think an oak tree that had a little owl nest. So, and the little owls were sort of like talking to each other, and they were sort of flying out and stuff. And then one of them sort of flew out and sat on the perch, sat on the fence post, and sort of saw me, and then sort of went like they sort of stood up like really tall, like staring at you. It's quite cute. So I've done a little owl with like some little glasses, like half moon glasses on him. He just looks really cute, very kind of studious. Is that the right word? Kind of, yeah, studious. I think I actually wrote that in my sketchbook. I thought my sketch was like a lot scruffier, but I've obviously worked on it a bit more. But oh god, the glare, no. Okay. So yeah, little owl, grumpy little face with some, I don't know what they're like, half moon glasses, or I don't know what they've got like a proper name to them. I get a lot of inspiration from reading books, especially things like fairy tales. When I sort of got into doing this business many years ago, I had ideas of doing this. It's only been very recently that I've actually sort of got the ball rolling, so to speak. But I really enjoy getting inspiration from fairy tales, and that's kind of sort of what I wanted my artwork, or like the theme of my artwork to be, is sort of like that kind of fairy tale, magical, witchy kind of feel. And one of my sort of little side quests is I'm sort of wanting to collect fairy tale books. So I've got a couple of them, like kind of vintage fairy tale books. I don't know, I grew, I guess like most people, you grow up on things, don't you, like fairy tales and you know, like Cinderella and Sleeping Beauty and all that kind of thing. And I grew up watching Jim Henson's The Storyteller. It was on TV, and I remember Mum, she recorded, like video recorded some of the stories. I think you can get it on DVD now. I think my sister's actually got it on DVD. But that was just amazing. Like, I loved that, and I loved Jim Henson's like Creature Shop, like the Muppets and everything. And yeah, I watched a lot of stuff when I was younger and read a lot, and I do get a lot of inspiration from those kind of early memories and early sort of stories. And I kind of wanted to put a little bit of that back in what I'm doing at the moment. And yeah, it's trying to get that passion and inspiration into my artwork. It can be a bit of a struggle, but yeah, I don't know, I quite like the idea of just creating quirky little animals and little characters that I can just, this is going to sound weird, but I don't see myself as very imaginative. I don't see myself as very imaginative. I don't have much of an imagination, but I can create sort of like characters, like individuals. That whole kind of world building thing is like just beyond me. I would love be able to do, or maybe like go on like a storytelling course or something, and sort of learn how to sort of like world build and how to sort of just connect like characters together and stuff. I think I want to sort of work on that a little bit. It's more like the world building beyond like the characters that, or like the little creatures that I make. So I got a really nice order come through, which has gone off to America. So I'm hoping that has also arrived as well. I did sort of pack it and send it off, like ship it off the day that I got the order. So I am sort of like, I'm one of those people that kind of panic when if I'm selling something. It doesn't matter if it's like on eBay or something like that. If it gets sold, I am there like on it with like the packaging and shipping it off. I don't like to sort of wait around for it. I'm always worried like, oh no, it's got to get out the door now, sort of thing. So I'd just like to say thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much to the lovely person who made an order last week. I will leave my details down in the description box. I'm not able to have clickable links in my description box yet because I'm a new YouTuber. I don't have that ability yet. So, but I will leave everything down. If you have any questions, or if there's anything else, things that you want to see from me, just let me know. I am sort of like obviously very new to the business, so it's obviously growing slowly. But if you've got any sort of, I don't know, questions, or if you're just like maybe curious about like where I live, because I live on a narrowboat, if you're sort of wanting to, I don't know, ask any questions about that, you can feel free. I do have sort of like boaty maintenance to do during the summer. We've got like a lot of painting to do. There's a lot of like DIY stuff to finish off in the boat. I might film that and show it. I personally quite like seeing live stuff from other people, like from people. I think because I'm just like a nosy bitch, and I just like seeing what other people are just getting up to outside of like work and things. So yeah, I might film bits of it and sort of include it sort of like in the vlog maybe. I don't know, it depends. But so yeah, thank you very much for watching. If you want to leave a like or subscribe, that will make me very happy. And I hope you all have a good rest of the week, and I'll see you in a couple of weeks' time. Bye.